This boy is removing mines with his mouth, because the war took your hands. The girl next door is the only one left. At this distance, if the mine explodes, she'll die. But she still wants to be with her brother. Iraq-Iran border region. This continuous war has about 16,000 mines buried here, these orphans for a living. Who dug mines together to sell for money? There's a lot of kids with broken legs. I broke my arm just because I broke it. But the disabled children. I'm still trying to get more of myself out. This is a 2004 Iraqi television series. Iran is called Tutorial Scamfly. All of the children in the film were refugees. Genuine, innocent and mature. Both weakness and courage converge on you. They make the AI also shed tears. Among the orphans was a boy born in heaven. There was a leadership quality. Everyone called him the boss. Because you've never read a book and still be able to understand the mechanics. Regularly help people install radar, receive signals and adjust TI-6. This can happen to adults sometimes. I don't even know. Jack can also speak a few words in English. That's because you've seen a lot of American movies. Boss because of his meager enthusiasm. We take care of the orphans. Help them bargain with arms dealers. Hope, people who risk their lives to get out. You can get the most reasonable price possible. When the war broke out, the boss will take the kids to buy weapons. Or build a defense. He taught people how to use the mask. Poison room, and secretly left one for the girl I secretly like. In this place, the boss seems to be everyone's best hope. But that's why everyone in the village needs you. Every child is waiting for you. One day on a minefield, the boss saw a strange boy removing a mine. That boy lost his arm, but also took Theo to clear a mine. Besides, he seems to have psychic powers. Just where it's going, there's going to be a lot of mines. The boss is very unhappy about this. That's what happened to the boss. It's a conflict with the original coward. But don't look at him amputated. Hands that despise. He can use his head. The boss was beaten with his head for nosebleeds. Fortunately, the boss has nothing to do, but you're very angry in your heart. One day the children gathered at the pile. The ruins of war. Hangop suddenly reminded the boss. There's a truck that's going to crash. The boss has heard. Beneath Iraq, there's a boy who can predict war. Whether it's real or fake, you risked running through there. Tell the kids to get out of the car. Not long after, the car suddenly exploded. The contribution is of course a contribution. He's actually a mysterious prophet. Since that day, the boss has removed the animosity with the silently take care of his family. Meet the driver on the road. The boss will take the initiative to take him home. Since that day the two boys have become friends. Later, Henry also predicted the American war in Iraq. Actually, you don't have the power of prophecy. It's just a random dream. Dreaming about what will happen in the future. But every time the forecast, something bad will happen to you. Barbed wire along the Iraqi border. There's a 5-year-old blind boy. Stray bullets often fly around here. Even adults do not dare to stay long. And he's still clinging to a barbed wire. When passing by, he and a disabled boy immediately ran over there. He realized that this child was her brother. That you secretly like. For comforting the baby, the disabled boy also raised his deformed foot. Disguised as machine guns fired at Turkish guards. And this provocation led to a series of. They both carried the baby and laughed. How much we have to be strong in war. I can see loss and pain as a joke. It's so much fun. Then they both took the baby home. The coward didn't say a thank you. Hold the baby back and tell them not to worry. Before he left, his sister looked at the lightning. It makes your heart suddenly bloom. The boss is more interested in her. Love in the battlefield without temptation and cover. From the first time I met her, my boss fell in love with her. You're always calculating with people. But she's the only one who doesn't regret it at all costs. Normal. Even the village chief had to line up for you. But she wants water. You're going to run into people to help her. The day she got water, the boss took her home. On the way both across a lake. But no one gets water here. The boss said people say this place is dirty water. Iraqi children are extremely fond of carp. I heard in this lake. 2 kids came here to fish. And not careful drowning. When she heard this, she looked at the 7 gods towards the lake. She thinks she wants to catch fish. So I didn't think much of jumping right into the lake to catch her. But when she came up, she was gone. Her coldness is not aimed at the boss. Her soul is like a transparent wall. Separated from this world. She never laughed, her face was always indifferent. It seems to have something to do with the baby that she's carrying on her back. This blind child is always lost. It seems that in addition to the disabled eyes, he's also a sleepwalker. There are mines all over the Iraqi border. A boy like that. It's going to be very dangerous, so? Every day before sleeping, the cowards tied the rope to the boy's feet. But it doesn't work, because the wires are always untied. There was a late night, after the onions and the blind baby had fallen asleep, and she walked out quietly carrying the kerosene. She went to the dirty lake and walked into the lake. And then she poured oil on the top and lit 8 burgers. Suddenly she saw the blind child standing on the shore. That kid stood there stupidly. You look like a ghost. When you get home, I saw the baby lying next to my brother. You're very angry. I don't care about people soaked in cold water. He hugged and bit the baby hard on the face. But when cowardice comes, I saw my sister beating the baby. The baby's face was covered in blood. The coward asked angrily, "Why does my sister treat her child like this? This truth is so cruel. The blind boy is not your brother. It's the real son of a cowardly sister." On that sinful night a few years ago, a group of soldiers entered the village. Murder. They plundered and destroyed their village in flames. The two cousins' families were killed. Their hands fell out in a pool of blood. And your sister was murdered by the soldiers. Caught it. They raped her. And this blind child is the cruelties they left behind. From the moment the baby was born, the mother was born. Hate. Every time he gets lost, it's not sleepwalking. It's my own mother. She took the baby and threw it in the wild. She hoped she wouldn't have to see the baby again. She's told her brother so many times, "I hope they can leave the boy. Leave this battlefield." But brother 0D. Donors don't know. Your honesty has hurt your sister. Know how much? Until that day, I heard the blind Kia kid walked into the minefield. The boss screamed at her, but the baby couldn't hear. It's a dangerous situation. The boss has to risk himself because the blind child loves to hear the bicycle ring. So the boss pushed the bike step by step into the minefield. You carefully step on the tree. The blind boy heard the sound of the bicycle and went ahead. He hurriedly threw the ring. She wanted to calm the baby's emotions. That the ring just hit me. The boss shouted forward. When everyone brings the boss back. This resilient teenager cried so bitterly. The boy's left leg was severely injured. The kids are all around you. Do you need anything, boss? The boss just told everyone to go home. But his two loyal followers remained and won. The boy told the boss. Henry contributed. Predict that the war is about to end. The boss heard this and cried. Tell him to report this to the whole village. Then you pull down the boss's door, suffering the pain alone. There she went home. And seeing my child come home again. Her eyes had become completely desperate. No matter how many times you use it. The baby is still back. It's like an endless nightmare. And this time she's determined to hold the baby. To the tiger. She tied the baby's feet to a rock. The actor suddenly woke up. In a dream you saw this. He was crying and running to the lake. There's only one boy on the lake now. It's lining up with an unhealed wound. He hugged his left leg. He was all wet and crying. They jumped into the lake. And of course we found the baby. Then you float to the surface. There's only a pained expression left. He walked along the road and met a lot of American soldiers. But you don't care. You come to a cliff. I finally found my sister's shoes. The mountain wind drew a small figure standing on the cliff. A little girl in a red dress quietly looks down the cliff. She chose to jump into the abyss. End this miserable life. She's no longer afraid of the nightmare that bothers her every night. This is the Iraqi border. There's a bunch of poor kids living here. They're running back and forth between mines and gunfire. When they raise their hands and volunteer to mine, there's a smile on her face. When my friends get hurt, they will rush to save their friends. This boy is disabled, but still running like a fly. Even if you have to suffer the pain of deformation every day, you'll also watch Ra's broken leg play. A naive boy. Wear a plastic bag, stand up, crying in the rain. I hope the boy's tears will stop. Or a coward who uses his mouth. And then use your arms to hold the baby in your arms. Despite being cold to everyone. But you're still saving innocent lives. Even the child is considered cruel by the mother. The eyes can't see the light. He also took his two little turtles into the evil lake. Even if war and pain are everywhere. Laughter and freedom. It's the innate desire of every child. End of the movie. Let's go back to the boss's point of view. The full-body boy always gives off light, with a heroic personality. We saw the American soldiers. I always wanted to join in. But at this moment, there's no more optimism in your eyes. You once gave the girl you liked a rope. She ended up using it to tie up the baby, and threw it in the water. He turned his back and looked away. This is where you live. It's also a place full of pain and tears.